What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darium's Competitive Pokemon. Today's Pokemon card of the day is Tapu Bulu GX from the Sun and Moon Burning Shadows expansion. Let's talk about it. Tapu Bulu GX is another one of these holy Tapu Pokemon from the new Sun and Moon series, going along with the same kind of idea as Tapu Fini, Tapu Lele, and Tapu Koko. Tapu Bulu has no weakness, making it a super cool addition to your grass type deck that probably is weak to fire type. Tapu Bulu's boasted no weakness. Nice little card here, and I think it has seen a lot of success already, especially at the North American International Championships. In that Tapu Bulu Vikavolt deck, I think has a lot of promise in that deck heading forward in standard format. So let's talk about it. Tapu Bulu GX has a nice, formidable 180 hit points. For a basic Pokemon GX, it's about as much as you could hope for. It's not quite as much as your 190 hit point Turtonator, but it is still higher than most, and more than 170, more than Marshadow's 150. So 180, nothing to scoff at. Pretty good amount of hit points, and allows it to operate as a tank type Pokemon and just glances off hits pretty easily and continues swinging away with its big attacks. Let's take a look at the attack options that Tapu Bulu has. Tapu Bulu has 3 attacks. The first one, Horn Attack, for 1 grass energy, does 30 damage. It's a nice little poke attack that you could use on the first turn of the game, or maybe if you just don't have too many energy on you yet, you haven't set up your Vikavolt yet. And Vikavolt is going to be the main card that you play with Tapu Bulu. So as I'm talking about Tapu Bulu, we're going to be talking about Tapu Bulu in a Vikavolt kind of mindset. The fact that you could accelerate 1 grass and 1 lightning from the deck to Tapu Bulu per turn. So we're going to be thinking about it that way. So maybe before you set up your Vikavolt, you could use Horn Attack to just start damaging your opponent's Pokemon and set up for later one hit or later knockouts. And I think the Horn Attack does that very well, just costing a single grass. It also significantly will knock out a Froakie in 1 hit. Since Froakie is weak to grass, right? A 30 will knock out a Froakie in 1 hit. If you have a Fighting Fury belt attached to your Tapu Bulu, it can do 40 damage, and then we'll knock out a Frogadier in 1 hit as well. So Horn Attack, pretty good against Greninja for getting in there early and allowing you to take some quick knockouts maybe before you set up your Vikavolt. And if you put a Choice Band on your Tapu Bulu, Horn Attack could do 60 damage to a Pokemon EX or GX, setting them up to be swept by the attacks that you have down here on the bottom half of the card. Tapu Bulu's second attack, Nature's Judgment, costs 2 grass and a colorless and does 120 plus damage. It reads, you may discard all energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 60 more damage. So 180 damage if you discard all the energy attached to Tapu Bulu GX, which of course is very expensive, but that is a great amount of damage to do. You're going to be able to knock out most Pokemon EX and GX with that. If you have a Choice Band attached, that's 210, you can knock out most Stage 1 Pokemon GX with that. If you play Professor Kukui, 230, now you're knocking out a Gardevoir GX in 1 hit with Nature's Judgment. So Nature's Judgment, great attack and does a lot of damage, and it's actually the discard is not that bad since you could just accelerate the energy right back with a Vikavolt. If you have your Vikavolt in play, that strong charge ability can just be used to refuel the energy on your Tapu Bulu so you can stream Nature's Judgment after Nature's Judgment back to back throughout the course of the game. So expensive attack, yes, but usable because of the deck that you would be playing your Tapu Bulu in, which is most likely going to be a Vikavolt deck. I mean, you could play it with like Lurantis GX. Lurantis GX is another option, and you could repower this thing up with Flower Supply, but I think Tapu Bulu Vikavolt is the deck of choice for most Tapu Bulu players and has already seen some success at the North American International Championships, so that would be the way that I would go about building a Tapu Bulu deck if I were to do so. Nature's Judgment does discard all that energy off of you, like I said, but that is actually a bonus against some decks like Espeon GX and Gardevoir GX, even against Tapu Lele. They would deal more damage to you if you had all that energy attached, but since you are discarding your energy, they actually have a hard time dealing knockouts to Tapu Bulu. So Tapu Bulu does fare really well against Gardevoir, against Espeon, and Tapu Lele as attackers, since it does get rid of all its energy when it does attack. Tapu Bulu's third attack is Tapu Wilderness GX for 150 damage. Says you may heal all damage from this Pokemon. So that's just a great attack and goes along with the healing kind of tank ability of this card. I mean, you can just glance off a huge hit with Tapu Wilderness, knock something out. If you have a Choice Band equipped, you could do 180 damage and heal yourself in the same turn, essentially erasing your opponent's last turn of play. So Tapu Wilderness GX is a great option for this card to have and sees play in almost every game that I see played with a Tapu Bulu deck. Tapu Wilderness GX, just so awesome, being able to erase your opponent's last attack, essentially. Really powerful GX attack and goes really well in this type of deck. Like we said earlier, Tapu Bulu's got no weakness, but it doesn't really matter so much because against a fire deck, I mean, most Volcanion decks are going to be able to hit that 180 hit point knockout range. I mean, it's nice that it's not weak. You know, you do force them to get a couple of steam ups in order to knock out your Tapu Bulu, but you know, also nice that Tapu Bulu isn't going to be easily knocked out by the non-EX Volcanion either. So even though, you know, Volcanion can still be a problem for a Tapu Bulu deck, it is nice that we're not outright weak to fire like other grass Pokemon. We do have no resistance, which is fine, and a retreat cost of 3. That is a pretty hefty retreat cost, but that can be supplemented with your boy Guzma, who is now going to be played as a 3-of in almost every single standard deck heading forward. So retreat cost of 3, yeah, it's a lot, but you can accelerate with your Vikavolt anyway to pay that retreat cost, or use Guzma to get this thing out of the active should you need to, or you could play Acerola. Acerola, amazing supporter card, especially in this kind of deck, right? That's just going to accelerate energy from the deck with strong charge, use Nature's Judgment, discard all your energy, then you can easily just play Acerola down, pick your Tapu Bulu up, maybe you promote your Tapu Koko promo, and then retreat for free and power up that Tapu Bulu again with strong charge and just continue firing off Nature's Judgment after Nature's Judgment. So I think that this card just is very strong. Awesome that we got this full art print in the Sun and Moon Burning Shadow set. Really think that this is just a sweet card. Great Pokemon GX with a lot of competitive viability headed into the upcoming standard format. So thank you all for checking out my card of the day. Let me know what you all think of Tapu Bulu GX in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for taking some time to watch the video. Peace.